Friends, welcome to Accounting Standard 25. I hope you are enjoying our session on Accounting Standard. What is Accounting Standard 25? Accounting Standard 25 is interim financial reporting. Now the student will have a question. What is interim financial reporting? Normally, you have studied a company prepares financial statement for 1 year. That is, the financial statement will be, let us say, from 1/4/25 to 31st March 26. So this is annual report. Annual report. थोड़ा सा खोलो, थोड़ा सा. Annual report. So this is called annual report. This is called annual report. Okay. Now, most companies would prepare annual report, but suppose there are listed companies. As per the requirement of SEBI, the listed company will have to prepare interim financial report. Sir, what is interim financial report? They are required to prepare reports covering a period less than 3 months. So that is called quarterly report. That is called quarterly report or half yearly reports, which is less than one full financial year. So company which is a company listed in India, what they do? They prepare quarterly reports in addition to annual reports. So they prepare 4 quarterly reports. These quarterly reports are called interim period financial statement. Or suppose a company has taken funding. Company has taken funds from investor. Suppose company has taken funds from investor. Now this investor wants that the company should give them half yearly reports. In that case, the company will have to prepare 2 financial reports covering a period of 1st April 25 to 30th September 25, and then another will be covering a period of 1st October 25 to 31st March 26. Even this is interim period report because it is less than 12 months. Okay, so that is interim period report. Now the next question will come, why do we need to prepare interim report? When I am preparing annual report, why we need to prepare interim report? So the answer is to give information more frequently. Suppose my financial year is 1/4/25 to 31st March 26. Annual report will be given after 31st March. Annual report will be issued after 31st March, which will cover the events and transaction of last 1 year. But investor needs to know what happened during the interim period, because lot of important events, transactions might have happened. Okay, lot of events, transaction might have happened during the year, and if the information about those events are received after 12 months, it is too late to take a decision. For example, here there can be some merger or demerger or sale of business units or conversion of debenture into equity share or issue of new shares. Okay, so what is the impact of that? The impact of that is this kind of important events and changes, this type of important event and changes can affect the decision making of the investor. The investor may decide to continue with the company, may decide to sell his shares of the company if he gets the information on time. So if the information about such important event was received somewhere close to 30th June, which is the first quarter ending, he could have taken a decision at this point of time. If the information is received after 12 months, around this period, it is too late for taking a decision. Is it right? So that is why interim reports are prepared. It gives timely and updated information to the users of financial statement so that he can take timely and appropriate decision. He can take a more informed decision at the right time. Information will be provided to him at an early stage. So let us read our notes on AS25. AS25 aims at bringing about uniformity of approach in the following areas. So different companies will prepare interim report. Different companies would prepare interim report. AS25 aims at bringing uniformity so that all entities who are preparing interim report will follow uniform principles in recognition, measurement, presentation and disclosure about interim reports. So this will help you to compare also one enterprise with another enterprise. Okay, so you can compare the results of Bajaj Auto Limited with Hero MotoCorp easily if they follow same principle in the interim report. You can compare the figures of, let us say, Indigo Airlines with SpiceJet airline. They are comparable. Okay, so even interim period reports you will be able to compare if they are prepared using uniform accounting principle. So what are the areas covered by AS25? AS25 requires that a company should have a minimum component of an interim financial report. Means you have to give certain minimum information in the interim financial report. This is minimum. More than that can be given. Minimum is because interim financial reports are prepared very frequently. Most of the information is already available with the investor. So he would be interested in only updated information. He would be interested in information which is recent and updated. Hence, complete details not required. Second, this interim financial report deals with the form and content. That is, what is the format of interim report? It may be similar to annual report. It may be little different from annual report. And content of interim financial report. Content of interim financial report means what would be included in the interim financial report. So that is a long list we are going to study, including materiality. Next is period for which interim financial report is to be presented. That is, what will be the frequency of preparation and how to present the information in different periods. Then it deals with recognition and measurement aspect. It deals with restatement of items previously reported in the interim period. That means if there is change in some accounting policy, how the effect of that change would be given in the interim period. Now we'll come to second point, periodicity. Very, very important. Our institute through AS25 does not specify what will be the periodicity or interval at which enterprise may elect to present the interim report. That means the meaning of this line is, should a company prepare, should an entity prepare half yearly reports Should an entity prepare quarterly reports? Should an entity prepare monthly report or any such interval as per entity choice? As per entity choice. If suppose I ask you a question that who will decide the period covered by the interim report, should it be half yearly, quarterly, monthly, or as per entity's choice? Okay, so therefore the answer is any such interval as per entity choice. Internet chair level. There is a multiple choice question also on that whether the institute prescribes any particular periodicity. The answer is no. The institute does not prescribe any particular periodicity. The company can choose. Can a company prepare interim period financial statement covering 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, 2 months, 2 months? The answer is yes. AS25 does not prohibit you to choose the frequency. You can choose your own. Next point is, who are supposed to prepare interim financial report? Who are supposed to follow AS25? Now, one more important thing, AS25 is not mandatory. This standard is not mandatory. It is voluntarily to be adopted by the entity. If any entity prepares interim report, then it has to follow AS25. So what is the meaning of this? We are not telling you any entity. AS25 is not making it compulsory that you have to follow AS25. But if you are preparing any interim report, then you must follow the principles of AS25. However, some companies may be required by SEBI to prepare interim report. So those companies have to prepare interim report. So SEBI requires quarterly reports. So those companies will prepare quarterly report. That is the requirement of SEBI, not the requirement of AS25. There is one accounting standard interpretation 27 also. ASI means accounting standards interpretation, which is having same importance like accounting standard. So our institute has issued one accounting standard interpretation number 27, something which is not included in the standard, but it is important. The institute may issue ASI. So let us read what is this ASI. It provides that listed company will follow the recognition and measurement requirement as laid down in this standard. Listed companies are exempted from complying with presentation and disclosure requirement of AS25. Okay. Listed company will follow presentation and disclosure requirement as per clause 41 of the listing agreement. So this is for listed company. So if you are a listed company, recognition and measurement principle follow AS25, and for presentation and disclosure, you will follow clause 41 of stock exchange listing regulation. Okay, that is for listed company. But for your general knowledge now, listed companies do not follow accounting standards now. Now listed companies follow Ind AS. So therefore this is now outdated because listed companies do not follow accounting standard. Listed company follow, all of you should say, listed company have to now follow AS, Ind AS, Indian Accounting Standard. Okay, so don't take much tension about this. Now we'll give you one question 1. Whether quarterly financial result presented under clause 41 of the listing agreement entered between stock exchange and listed enterprise meet the definition of interim financial report as per AS 25, and whether provision of AS 25 should be applied for the same. Is it right? So now there are two questions here. First question is whether quarterly financial result which is presented under clause 41 meet the definition of interim financial report. First answer is no. The quarterly financial results are prepared as per the requirement of clause 41. It doesn't meet the definition of interim financial report. And secondly, whether the provision of AS 25 are applied for the same. For recognition and measurement, AS 25 or Ind AS is applied. But for presentation and disclosure, clause 41 is applied. For presentation and disclosure, clause 41 is applied. But now because you are a listed company, you have to follow Ind AS rather than accounting standards. So the answer is like this. The presentation and disclosure requirement contained in AS 25 should be applied only if the enterprise prepares an interim financial report as per AS 25. Accordingly, presentation disclosure contained in AS 25 are not required to be applied in interim financial result which do not meet the definition of interim financial report as per AS 25 prepared by an enterprise. So this is your first answer. Highlight the quarterly financial results presented under clause 41 of the listing agreement do not meet the definition of interim financial report as per AS 25. Do not meet the requirement of interim financial report as per AS 25. Second answer, but recognition and measurement principle of AS 25 will be applied. Presentation and disclosure will be as per the listing agreement. Recognition and measurement will be as per AS 25. Now the next question is, what is interim period? What is an interim period? Interim period means a financial report shorter than a full financial year. That means it covers a period less than 12 months. But sometime, for example, a company may be incorporated on 1st January 2025. Company may be incorporated on 1st January 2025 and its year ending date is 31st March 2025. Year ending date is 31st March 2025. Now the question is, it will, in the first year of its operation, it will prepare financial statement which will be covering only 3 months from 1st January to 31st March. Will you call it as interim financial report? Option A, will you call it interim financial report? Option A, yes. Option B, no. So the student will have to reply, if you are in the first year of operation and your financial statement covers less than 12 months, will you call it as interim period financial statement? The answer is no. The answer is no. So it is possible that in the first year of operation, your financial statement may cover less than 12 months, but that is not interim financial statement. Then what is an interim financial report? Interim financial report means condensed or full financial statement. Condensed means less information is provided, because most of the information is already covered in annual report, and full financial statement means all information as required by accounting standard or Companies Act or guidance note or any other law are fully provided. Keep in mind, the entities have two choices. Either they can follow condensed interim period financial statement, or they can follow full financial statement, but they must ensure that the interim financial report should contain minimum following. This is minimum requirement. More than that is welcome. Okay, more than that is welcome. So what are the question for you in the exam? What are the minimum requirement of interim financial report? Tick mark. Question in the exam for 4 marks or a multiple choice question. What are the minimum requirement of interim financial statement? So you will say one is condensed balance sheet. Condensed means less information, not same information which is given in annual report. Then condensed statement of profit and loss, condensed cash flow statement. Again, you are going to prepare cash flow statement if it is required. If the entity is required to prepare cash flow statement in annual financial report, if the entity is required to prepare cash flow statement in its annual financial report, then it will be required to prepare cash flow statement in the interim financial report also. Okay, so less information will be given, and you have to provide selected explanatory note. Selected explanatory note means that only important notes will be provided. This is discussed later. You can write a note. What are selected explanatory note? Discussed later. Now let us talk about condensed balance sheet. So what do you mean by condensed balance sheet? I will give less information. For example, I will write same heading which is used in annual report: shareholder fund, share capital, and I will write the amount, whatever amount is that, 1 lakh, without writing too much detail about it. Okay, I will write reserves and surplus, whatever is the total, without going into the detailed presentation of reserve and surplus. Okay, or similarly, suppose I have to write current liabilities. Suppose in the balance sheet, I will only write the heading and subheadings without going into detailed discussion or detailed presentation. Like for example, we can write short-term borrowing. We can write short-term borrowing. We can write short-term provision. These are only heading and subheading. Or we can write trade payable, like this. Main heading, subheading, which are used for annual reporting. And similarly in the statement of profit and loss, main heading, you will only write revenue from operation, expenses, profit, tax, like that. In cash flow statement, you will only write, for example, cash flow from operating activity, without going into the details. Cash flow from investing activity, cash flow from financing activities, without going into too much of details, right? and some notes, not all the notes which are usually given in annual report. Okay, then we have complete statement. You have a choice. You can give complete statement also. In complete statement, you can give all the information which is required in the annual report. If the enterprise is following condensed financial statement, if the enterprise is following condensed, paragraph 8, if the enterprise is following condensed financial statement, then it should give minimum the same heading and subheading which were included in the most recent annual statement. For example, I have already given current liability. Now let us say, for example, current asset. Current asset will be used as the heading, and you are going to use same subheading which are used for annual statement. For example, inventories, without further giving breakup of inventories into raw material, finished goods, WIP, or you will write trade receivable, without giving more detailed disclosure about trade receivable, or for example cash and cash equivalent, something like this. Okay, you don't have to give further breakup of this individual subheading items. The objective is to provide information to the users as early as possible. Okay, but if you think additional line item or notes should be included to make the financial statement more meaningful and not misleading, then one can add additional line item also. Okay, so then we have made a comparison between what is complete set and what is condensed set. Minimum requirement is condensed set. Complete set can also be followed, but that will consume more time and more effort. Hence, practically most companies, given a choice, would prepare minimum component, okay, condensed. But still, if you're preparing complete set, you have to prepare balance sheet, statement of profit and loss, cash flow statement, all notes and explanatory material that form part of the financial statement, and this should be similar to annual account. It is as if you are preparing annual account. It is as if you are preparing annual accounts. But if you are preparing minimum component or condensed set, you will have to give condensed balance sheet, condensed statement of profit and loss, condensed cash flow statement, selected explanatory note, in order to impart clarity so that users can understand. And this is supplemented by additional information on new activity, event, or other circumstances not previously reported. Anything more you want to give which will be useful for the user, which will give more information to the user, more clarity to the user, which will avoid misleading information, those additional information can also be given. If the company has entered into a new contract, that can be given. If the company has lost a court case, that information can be given. If company has paid dividend, that information can be given. Okay. So the next is paragraph 9. Should a company prepare or present EPS also in the interim financial report? The answer is same. The answer is same if it presents the same in the annual financial statement. So even for interim period, you will have to present basic and diluted EPS if you are presenting EPS and diluted EPS for annual financial statement. Now, next is explanatory notes. We have discussed that in addition to condensed balance sheet, condensed P&L account, condensed statement of cash flow, we have to give explanatory note. So what would be included in notes to interim financial statement? Please tick mark for a 4-mark theory question. what are the minimum notes to be given in interim financial report? Theory question for 4 marks. Note it down. And then there is a long list. You have to remember this long list. Basically, the trick to remember is that these are some important information in which the user would be interested. Okay. So what are the notes to be given? Information or notes which are already disclosed in previous annual report. Suppose, understand, we are preparing interim financial report for 3 month ended 30th June. Previous year ended was 31st March 25. On this date, we have already prepared annual report which contains lot of information, lot of details. Those information which were already covered in annual report and which have not changed. For example, accounting policy which was presented in annual report has not changed on the first interim period reporting date. There is no need to disclose them in the interim report. No need to waste your time, energy, effort in duplicating the information which have not changed. Okay. Only you can give a note that yes, during the interim period, same accounting policies are followed. So as a minimum, following notes will be disclosed. This long list you have to remember on a year to date basis. What is year to date? Year to date means from the beginning of the current financial year to the end of current interim period. Example, a year to date means, suppose I am preparing second quarter report. This is quarter 2, this is quarter 1. So my notes will contain information covering the period 1st April 25 to 30th September 25. If my information covers this period, it is called year to date basis. It is called year to date. That means from the start of the year till the end of the respective interim period. Start of the year, this is the end of respective interim period. The information for this period is called year to date information from the beginning till the end of the current interim period. Okay. Now next is another disclosure is if any event or transactions are important, material, then that needs to be disclosed. So what are the notes to be disclosed in the interim period? Please understand, first note you have to disclose is that same accounting policies have been followed. Same accounting policies have been followed as it was followed in the last financial statement. If there is a change, then the nature and effect of the change should be disclosed. Okay. Second thing is you have to give explanatory statement about seasonality of interim operation. What is that? If the business is seasonal, like raincoat, like woolen garment, like air conditioner business, their business is seasonal. Some quarters will have high sale, some have moderate sale, some have very low sale. It can fluctuate. Okay, in some cases like air conditioner business, first quarter, April to June quarter will have a very high sale, but as you go towards third quarter and fourth quarter, that is January, February, March, or maybe October, November, December, the sales will fall. So it is better to Give a note about seasonality of interim operation. Users will understand that this fluctuation in the sale is not due to operational inefficiency, but it is because of the nature of the business. Third, you have to disclose the nature and amount of unusual item. Any unusual item will have to be disclosed in the notes separately, like for example demerger, merger, restructuring, loss due to earthquake, loss due to fire. These are not usual item, so they will be disclosed separately. The nature and amount of changes in estimates of prior period interim period or prior financial year if it has a material effect on the current interim period. Sir, what is this? If you have made estimate, suppose 31st March 25, you estimated provision for doubtful debt as 1 lakh, but 30th June 25, the estimate changed to 1,25,000. Give disclosure. Give disclosure. Similarly, the estimate can change from period to period, from one interim period to next interim period. That also you have to disclose. For example, change in depreciation method is change in estimate. Mention here, if the method of depreciation changes, it is also change in estimate and will be disclosed. Change in useful life of asset is also change in estimate and is also to be disclosed. Then you have to disclose some important events in the company's life which will have a bearing on the risk and reward of the investor, which can affect the shareholding pattern of the company, which can dilute the EPS of the company. For example, issue of share can dilute the EPS. Buyback of share can increase the EPS. Repayment and restructuring of debt will affect the debt equity ratio and financial risk of the company. Then issue of potential equity share like ESOPs again can affect the future EPS of the company. So these important events which have taken place in interim period needs to be disclosed. Then you can disclose dividend either in the form of per share or in the form of percentage. Dividend can be presented per share basis or percentage basis. Are you preparing segment report as per AS17 for annual report? Are you preparing segment report for annual reporting? Yes. Then you must prepare segment report for interim period also. Then you must prepare segment report for interim period reporting also. Next disclosure is effect of changes in composition of enterprise due to amalgamation, acquisition, disposal of subsidiaries, long-term investment, restructuring and discontinuing operations. So if company has entered into amalgamation, acquisition, disposal of subsidiaries, long-term investment, this will affect the fundamentals of the company. That is called composition of the enterprise. The business has completely changed because of such major event. Make disclosure. Why? This will affect the risk and reward of the investor. And any important change, material change in contingent liability. For example, court case is going on, which is presented as contingent liability in the annual financial statement. Now you have lost the case. Oh my God. Because of that, the company will have to pay a huge penalty. And that will affect the company's profitability, company's cash flow. So if there are material changes in the contingent liability, make disclosure about that. What about disclosures required by another accounting standard? In India, we have AS1 to AS29, and all of them have some or the other disclosure requirement. In interim period report, disclosures required as per other accounting standards are not necessary. Wow. So you don't have to disclose so many requirements given in so many other standards for interim period, because the objective is to save time, efforts, energy, and duplication also, because most of the information as far as disclosure about as far as disclosures are concerned are usually duplication. You will already find them in the annual report. This is not required if you are preparing condensed financial statement. Condensed, but if you are preparing complete set of financial statement, all disclosures are required to be given. Okay. Now very important paragraph number 12. What is this paragraph? Periodicity of interim financial report and comparatives. That is, what are the periods for which interim reports will be prepared and what are the comparatives you will give. What are the comparatives, so that the user can compare the current interim period performance with the previous period, and he can understand the trend, he can understand the change in the important ratios, change in important numbers, and accordingly he will decide about his investments. Okay. So for comparison purpose, what are the statements to be given, and for the current interim period, what are the statements to be given? Okay. So to understand this answer, let us take, for example, let us assume our interim period is covering 3 months from 1st October 2023 to 31st December 2023. To understand this table, assume that we are preparing interim period report, quarterly report, covering the period, the current interim period is 1/10/23 to 31st December 23. So how many balance sheet you have to present, how many P&L account you have to present, how many cash flow statement you have to present. Okay. And if you are a seasonal company, what additional statements you have to present. So follow me now. If you are a company which is non-seasonal means your business is more or less uniform throughout the year. Sales are not concentrated in few seasons only. Then for such company you have to prepare one balance sheet at the end of the interim period. So I'm going to write here as on, one balance sheet will be as on 31/12/2023. If my interim period is 1st October 23 to 31st December 23, and I will prepare a comparative balance sheet. Comparative balance sheet at the end of the immediately preceding financial year. That means as on 31st March 23. As on 31st March 23. Is it right? So these are my two balance sheet to be prepared if you are a non-seasonal company, if you are a non-seasonal business. But if you are a seasonal business, highlight, underline, then the seasonal companies will have to prepare some additional balance sheet. Seasonal company will have to prepare some additional balance sheet for the 12 months ending on the interim reporting date and comparative information for the prior 12 months period. So in that case, now you have to prepare one additional balance sheet. Additional balance sheet will be prepared as on 31/12/2022. 31/12/2022. In seasonal business, same date previous year will be taken. Easy to compare. What about P&L account? One is for the current interim period you have to prepare P&L account. So I will write here, for understanding, 3-month ended 31/12/23. If you are a non-seasonal business, then you have to prepare for current year and year to date, current interim period and year to date, and same for previous year. So here we'll prepare for comparison 3-month ended 31/12/23, 22, 31/12/22, and one year to date also. Year to date will cover 9 months because our opening date is 1st April. 9 months ended current year 31/12/23, 9 months ended previous year 31/12/22. And if you're a seasonal business, then you have to prepare 2 more P&L account covering 12 months so that the whole year is covered. So 2 more. I am writing below 12 months ended 31/12/23. So that will cover one whole cycle of 12 months, and comparative 12 months ended 31/12/22. So that is about P&L account. 6 P&L account you have to prepare. Total 6 profit and loss account you will have to prepare. Okay. Now what about cash flow statement? What about cash flow statement? For the interim period, current year interim period, we have to prepare cumulative for the current financial year to date. So this will be 9-month ended 31/12/23. This is cumulative from the beginning till the end of the reporting period. Year to date 1st April to 31st December, and comparable for year for the immediately preceding year. So here I am going to prepare one 9-month ended 31/12/22, and for a seasonal company I am going to prepare 2 more which will cover 12 months. 12 months ended 31/12/23, 12 months ended 31/12/22. So how many balance sheet we have to prepare? For seasonal business, 3 balance sheet. For seasonal business, 6 P&L account, and for seasonal business, 4 cash flow statement will be prepared. Note on seasonal business. If it is a highly seasonal business, then it is recommended, encouraged, but not mandatory. That means voluntarily you can do. It's not compulsory to give additional balance sheet, give additional P&L account, give additional cash flow statement which will cover 12 months period. Suppose you don't want to give, it is not mandatory. Okay. So there is one question. Number 2. A company is carrying out operations which are seasonal by nature. It has to prepare quarter interim financial statement for the period ended 31st December 2013. So what is the quarter ending 31/12/13? This is the same quarter which I have taken for example purpose. As per AS 25, describe the periodicity of its interim financial statement along with comparative. Describe the periodicity of interim financial statement along with comparative. So if you are not able to copy this one, don't worry. Purposefully, I had taken the same interim period for example purpose. Hence, now if you have not copied, you can write in the notebook properly, because this is our question number 2. So that was the strategy. I have already given you lot of explanation. Now write down the answer. Draw this format first. Draw this format first. Question number 2. Question number 2. Write down 3 columns. You will write down 3 columns. Component of financial statement. Component of financial statement. After that, write down period and comparative. Period and comparative. First component is balance sheet and the period is 31st December. So you write down as on 31/12/23. Comparative will be as on 31/3/23, and one more for seasonal business as on 31/12/22. 31/12/22. This is for seasonal business. This is for seasonal business. For seasonal business, we are going to highlight also additional P&L account 3 months ended 31/12/23. Comparative will be 3 months ended 31/12/22. Then year to date 9 months ended 31/12/23. 9 months ended 31/12/22. These are mandatory. For seasonal business, we'll have 12 months ended 31/12/23 and 12 months ended 31/12/22. So you will highlight the last two, which are additional requirement for seasonal business. Which are the additional requirement for seasonal business? And cash flow statement would be compulsory is 9 month ended year to date. For cash flow statement only year to date, 9 months ended 31/12/23, and comparative, which is mandatory, 9 months ended 31/12/22, and 2 more for seasonal business, 12 months ended 31/12/23 and 12 months ended 31/12/22. Only one small change you do in the question. It is written 2013. You please make it 2023 so that it will match with the answer. This is the answer. Note it down. Note down the answer. The highlighted ones are for seasonal business. And write one homework. Question number 3 homework. Question number 3 is homework from your study material. You have to answer, and they have given you the same question, 31st December 2000 x1. which I have just now done. Okay, so you will solve on your own question number 3. Question number 3 is your homework. Okay, and all the explanation is also printed in the book. In case if you have a doubt, then you can ask me. So today we are going to stop here. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.